And it's the research led to the development of new technology that measures coherence. And it's products that we have today, like the M-Wave personal stress reliever and the M-Wave PC, which is a PC-based product, that are really cool technologies that train people to increase their coherence. And this is very useful. I mean, coherence eats stress for breakfast. You know, when you're coherent, you're not in a stress state. So it's designed for stress reduction. It's designed to improve performance. It's great to use with children. It's great to use to reduce things like test-taking anxiety. All these technologies are there to help people. You know, so we've taken and built a really interesting bridge between technology and personal development. And the products have been really successful for us and helping a lot of people all around the world. And we'll be developing more new things as we go, utilizing technology as an aid. It doesn't take away from the need for self-empowerment. To use the technology to be successful, you have to do something. It doesn't do something to you, but it trains you how to do something for yourself.
Okay. Now, with all the years that you've been involved prior to HeartMath, you know, coming into being, and of course your work now since you've been with HeartMath, do you think people generally are becoming more open with their emotions in a positive way? Do you think we're actually shutting down more? Where do you think we're at generally as a species on this planet?
I think more people are recognizing, you know, the need to be maturely looking at their emotional state. A lot of people still remain in denial about that or shut off from that. And I think people are definitely, many millions and millions of people are shut off from the feelings of the heart. And you see that clearly reflected. I mean, there was an article that came out just today on the CNN website saying that, you know, the #1 prescribed drug category of drugs in the United States right now is antidepressants. 118 million prescriptions for antidepressants last year. What that means is people are shut off from the feelings of the heart. But they can easily reconnect with those feelings because it's not like the heart ever goes away. We go away from it. And it's always there. It's our own best friend. It's our own reliable source of self-security, and it's always there for us. But through the roar of ambition and survival, we start living from the neck up. Yeah. And we lose connection to it, and then we experience things like depression and anxiety and a host of other psychological conditions that are just not fulfilling. They're less than optimal. But to answer your question, I think we're also seeing a big shift in awareness in the world today. You know, I see the time we're living in as being a very interesting time. On one hand, we have extreme chaos, and the world's teetering on the edge. You know, and while that's happening, we also see this major increase in intelligence, awareness, consciousness. So it's two things happening simultaneously, and I'm very hopeful about our future. I think that we are, you know, we're evolving in a way. Developing new intelligence needed to solve problems. I think we're going to go through a lot more rough spots before we get there, but ultimately I think that the era that we're in is a very progressive era and an era that offers great hope.
Okay. Well, on that note, we'll go to another break. When we come back, I'd actually like to have you address that time-old question of whether women are more open emotionally than men or not.
Sure.
Back with you. Welcome back. Before the break, I asked you about that time-old question. What would the answer be about are men or are women more open emotionally than men?
Women are more emotionally open than men, for the most part. I do believe that, yeah.
Yep. Why?
Well, I think it's societal programming for one thing. Men aren't supposed in many societies to show their emotions, you know. And we're not taught that. We're not taught that when we're young. We're taught that that's a sign of weakness in us, you know. I think that women are more in touch with their emotions. It doesn't mean that they do more with them than men do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they're sometimes more aware of them. They show them more, at least, than men do. But I think that, it's all about finding the balance between that, between the male and the female. And, we all have those characteristics within us, and it's about bringing balance into it. I mean, I think women are more intuitive as well. They pick up on things quicker, but it doesn't mean that they act on what they pick up on quicker. And it's in the doingness of things in this era where things really count. It's not about the next insight, it's about acting on the last one you had.
Okay. Well, okay, that then leads to the next thought, right, left brain. That supposedly the left brain is more the masculine aspect, the right brain is the more feminine aspect. That men are more focused in the left brain, women tend to cross over more. How much truth's in that?
Well, I'm not a scientist. I've been actually characterized as a scientifically informed comedian, but I'm not a scientist. But, I think that what my researchers have told me is that the left brain, right brain theories are really not up to date. That those things, it's an older form of research that, intelligence is distributed throughout the entire brain. It's not so hemispherical as it was said to be when that research came out. So from what I understand is that that's not really as important anymore to understand brain function. And it's not as easy to say as they said, the creative side is on one side and the thinking side is on the other. It's not quite that linear. It's actually a more distributed process within the brain.
Okay, so then following that along, if men had a similar upbringing to women, generally speaking, where they're able to, cry more and express those hurt emotions more and those more happier emotions more, do you think then that it doesn't matter whether one is male or female in the ability to express from the heart, given the same upbringing?
I don't think it makes much difference to a man or a woman. I think that that innate intelligence exists within all people. It's something for everyone, whether a man or a woman, and it manifests itself in different ways because that's part of the uniqueness of being a man or a woman. But the power of the heart's for everyone. It's not about gender. It's not about race. It's not about geography. It's not about culture. It's there for every single human being on the planet.
So we are all born equal.
We are born equal when it comes to the heart, that's for sure.
It's very nice to hear. Slightly different subject. We were also talking earlier about the documentary that's currently taken the world by storm, The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked you what your take on that was.
Yeah. Well, my take on it's this. I think that, it's received a lot of criticism. I'm not saying that some of the criticism isn't accurate, about some of the ways that things are portrayed within the context of the movie and the book, etc. But I think the biggest point that gets missed a lot of times within that criticism is how many people The Secret is actually helping. Mm-hmm. It's a huge movement. I think it's helping people to see within themselves that they can do something about their life. That they can move beyond the mediocrity that they live in, and they can have a life that's different from the one that they have today. And whether it's about money for some people or not, that's not the real point. Whatever motivates people to make change within themselves is important. So I actually think The Secret is helping a lot of people, and I'm not denying that the criticism about it being maybe too materialistic or perhaps older material that's now being just recast. I think that's all legitimate and fair to say. But I think let's not miss the point. About people need things in their life today so they can feel a new sense of their own fulfillment. And if The Secret is not quite right for people and they have bigger expectations than they're able to see delivered, I think they'll learn something from that. It's of great value. I think it'll still be motivational to them.